Assalamu alaikum YouTubers. Today I want to show you guys how to animate a 2D character using Blender. Guys, this is very simple and easy. You don't have to draw manually draw things on paper and have them uploaded on your computer. You can use the software and it can take you like 5 to 15 minutes to make a short animated video. So without further ado, let's get started. What we want to first do is let's open the Blender application and start a new 2D animation project. Alright, your blank work page will appear. Let's go to the top and select the type of pen that we want. Now I like using the F ink pen. It's much better. It helps you with your images. If you look at that, it actually comes out quite smoothly. Alright, so I'm Control Z for undo. Alright, so what we want to do is I want to create a character that looks like a superhero and I want him to move. So I'm going to open up one of my own images that I have on my computer, which is this dude over here. Let me just make it so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here we go. Going to start drawing this guy. And guys, it's much easier than it looks. Trust me, I'm actually using a computer mouse for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by shaping his face. So let's use the curve. As we can see, there's a curve over there. So let's just create a curve. Okay, so for this, as you can see, the type of pen doesn't work for that. We need to change the pen to your F pen when you're doing curves. Okay, there we have it. So now we just edit the curve. Okay, that's done. Then we press spacebar to enter, and that will be channeled inside. Use another curve. You guys can use the other curve as well, the one just below that. It actually has more segments on it in order to give you a better curve effect than this one here. Alright. Now that looks good. Spacebar again. And let's just go on the ear. So for the other smaller parts, I'm going to use my other ink pen. Alright, let me just zoom in on this just for some more detail. I'll zoom in on this image as well, get the detail of that. Okay, I want the detail of that ear. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to start drawing by selecting the draw pen over there. And then you can always adjust your radius. If you look at the radius now, it's quite thick. We don't want that. We want something, let's say, in the radius of about 20. Let's see what 20 does for us. 20 looks quite good. Okay, let's start drawing that ear. Alright, so we have it there. Do the detail on the ear. Perfectly done. I'm liking the software already. Okay, so now I wanna go to the eyes and the eyes and the mouth and nose, etc. So let me move it over there. Use this move the view hand icon to move your guy's image. Guys, you won't be able to move your image by clicking on the mouse and dragging it. It's not how the software works. Okay, let's use the eraser. Let's just get rid of this curve and actually redo this curve a little bit. I'm going to draw it rather. I like using the drawing tool. Okay, there we go. And then let's see the mouth. Let's have a little bit of that nose. Okay, so the nose is much closer there. And then let's erase this mouth and redo the mouth. Okay, so we have the mouth. The mouth is done. And then we can add in the bottom of the eye there. Okay, then the actual eye itself. Alright, perfect. Let's get in that circle of the eye, give it a more realistic look, get in a bit of that eye texture, let's get in that eyebrow. Remember guys, by redrawing a sketch, you can actually make it your own. You guys can change it around, you can start making your own characters, and that's the best thing about this program. Okay, so once we have, okay, there's more detail over there. Now we're going to start with the eye on the top over here. There we go. Now we're getting the eyebrow on this side. Guys, see it's already starting to take shape. Not looking too shabby. I'm liking this actually. Even if my character looks slightly different, I mean, it still looks like a good character. I just want to get in that earlobe at the back there. Just redo that, just to give it a bit of a better effect. Okay, that looks fine to me. Okay, now the hair. The hair is actually much easier than most of the other parts. So guys, as you're drawing, what the software is doing is it's creating a vertex around each line that you draw. So if you go to edit mode, you will see that you can select each line that you drew. You can delete the line by right clicking and going to the delete option. Where is the delete option? Okay, there's delete strokes, and then you can just redo that and bring it back. Okay, so you guys can delete if you make a mistake. If you want to take out a completely incorrect drawing, so let's go back to draw mode. Okay, once we're there, then we're going to start with hair. So let's put on, okay, let's go from here. Nice. Okay, so there we more of the hair detail. Guys, you can do a much quicker rough sketch on this. You don't have to be so detailed as I am. And you can play around with it. I mean, there's a lot of cartoons out there that just use simple drawings that actually make a lot of money. Okay, that looks good. Alright, let's add in that second one. Okay, I don't want that. It's just Control Z, guys, for undo. It's that simple. You could even go on top to the Edit tab and you guys can select undo from there if you want to work that way. Okay, it's coming up nicely, guys. Not too bad. Oh, I'm gonna love moving this character when it's done. It's gonna look so good. Alright, it's looking good. And now let's get to the back piece over here. Just to let you guys know, the character that's on the right, I actually drew that character myself and already animated it. So now I'm just redoing this so I can teach you guys how to actually animate your own character, make your own superhero cartoon, become famous overnight. Alright, so now let me just zoom. So guys, I'm just using the middle scroll button to zoom in and out. Okay, so there's a lot of detail here that we just want to get in just to give it more of a realistic look. Then okay, that's good. Let's see what part this is. Okay. Okay, I'm just adding it in a different place just to give it a little bit of a different look. Alright, so that's looking quite good. Let's make this line thicker so it suits the bottom of the face. Alright guys, so we're done with the hair. Let's move on to the body. And we're going to be animating all of these body parts. You can animate whichever part of the body you wish to animate. It's completely up to you. Okay, let's not make his neck too long. Alright, so then let's get in this part over here. Remember guys, the character standing in a 3D view, so you want to get the chest a little bit more towards the left. Okay. He's wearing an undertop here. Okay, now we go to the shoulder. Guys, you can change the intensity of the eraser as well. Change the intensity of any of your tools. On the top, you'll see a range of different options over there. in. Guys, if you want to see more videos, guys, please just like and share and request them in the comment section below. If there's anything you don't understand on Blender, on the studio animation, I'm more than happy to share it with you. Okay, let's get that legs in over there. Okay, so as you can see, this thing is not fitting on my sheet, so I'm just going to rescale it by selecting object mode, and then you guys can rescale it here by this scale option, or you can just keep the letter S in and then move it up and down and to rescale it for you. And then if you want to move it, you can use the moving cursor. You can keep G in and you can move it to where you want to move it to. Alright, so let's go back to draw. Let's get in those legs. First that belt. Okay, so guys, for the legs, as you can see my cartoon, the legs, you'll notice that you don't see the full leg in a 2D animation, but what we're going to be doing, and this is very important, is that we're going to be drawing the full leg. So starting from here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, okay, let me not draw it there, let me draw it next to the image. So I'm going to draw the leg on the side over here so that I have the complete leg. Don't worry about the size. If you don't get the size right, you can always rescale it. There's no issue there. So now I'm going to join it there. So now I've got a complete leg, and I'm just going to add the foot in as well and join that to the leg, because initially it becomes part of the drawing. Okay, so with that being done, I'm going to edit mode so I can select the leg and rescale it according to the size of the item. So guys, I'm just keeping G in here to move the object. As you can see, I just need to get the size right. Once I have the size correct, it suits the body, should be perfect. Okay, let's go back to draw mode. Let's draw in the other leg. Do the same thing, we draw the complete leg. Now why am I drawing this on the side, guys? Because it's going to be very difficult to actually select your vertices if they are in the way of the other vertices, and they tend to get very cluttered when you're trying to work with movement of the animation. Alright, that's great. Let's get that in there. Okay, let's join it there. Get the foot in. Okay, that should be fine. Again, gonna go to edit mode. I'm going to move this and rescale it using S G to move. Right, perfect. So guys, if you look, it looks cluttered, but once you do the editing on the animation, you can actually erase the line that should be erased. All right, let's do the arms, and after that we can get animating. I'm sure you guys can't wait for the animation part. All right, back to draw mode. So we do the same with the arms as we did with the legs. We draw the complete arm. Also very important to remember, guys, don't leave out these steps. You're going to have to rewind the video if you guys have been skipping through. This part is extremely important. If you're not going to do that, you're going to go very wrong with your 2D animation. Let me just, let me get rid of that. I want to get a better arm in there. Get up a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm going to get the round part in. So guys, you can adjust these lines with using the tool above, and I'll show you how to do that. There's a sculpting tool, so you don't have to keep on erasing. And I'll show you just what I mean. If I go to the sculpt mode here, it actually gives me the option to adjust this. So I can actually make it bigger, the muscle over there. I can change it over there just to perfect all those small little imperfections. Okay, so now it's starting to take shape. It's starting to look more like an arm should look. And then again, back to drawing mode. Let's get the hand in, moving a bit closer for these because the detail on hands are quite sophisticated. Okay, so let's just try. And guys, try and have as much patience as you can with animation. Animations do take time. You know, I mean, if you just put in that little bit of extra time, that extra 5-10 minutes, you'll see it will make such a big difference. You'll have a much better result at the end of the day. You'll be very happy with your work. Pages in. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it like that for now, just so that I can get to the part where I actually start animating. Okay, to edit mode again, select that and click on G, get our arm in place. Probably going to have to rescale it as well. Okay, it looks like it's leaning a bit, so we can use this rotate button, guys. I think you just need to use R, and you can also rotate it. You don't need to use the option. You can use the short keys if you wish to do so. Okay, as I can see, my arm is a bit too long, so I'm going to adjust the one axis over there, bring it back into place. I want it to be just about knee height. Which should be around there. Okay, so now it's starting to look a bit better. If at any point you guys want to just sculpt and edit your item, you can do so. Just zoom in on the item, move your vertexes. Just so that it looks more natural. Don't worry guys, you can always smoothen out by using the smooth tool. Fixes everything. Smooth tool again. So I'm just keeping the mouse on the left click in and actually pulling down as I'm dragging to smoothen out. The same applies with the other tools. You keep the button of the mouse in and it will do the work for you. Right. And so you guys can actually fix everything on your drawing. Don't have to erase all the time. The software is made so simple. Smoothen out. Then again, just smoothing out by dragging the right click, the left click, sorry, all the way through. You can also use the grab. The grab also helps you with a lot of things. As you can see, I'm just trying to make it look a bit more natural by grabbing it over there, getting this part in a bit more. So it uses a similar thing as the push. You see his muscle is a bit too big on that side. Smooth out. Let's make everything smooth. Starting to look a bit better now. All right. That looks good to me. One more hand and then we can start animating, guys. Guys, the animation process is very important. Please watch the video carefully. Going back to the drawing mode now to get the other hand in. So guys, your best bet here to actually do is to copy the one arm and actually paste it and then just draw the hand the other way around. So what I'm going to do here is go to edit mode. I'm going to keep shift in to select the vertices, all the vertices on the hand, so I can actually drag over there. I know that includes the hand, that stroke, that stroke. So Control C for copy, and then Control V for paste, and then we can just move the arm away. There we have a duplicate copy. So we want it to look like the back of the hand, or the back of the arm at least. So everything inverts. So we need to mirror or flip this image. So in order to mirror, we can mirror there, X global, and there we have it. So now the bicep is in the other direction. Okay, so now The next step is we just want to edit the fingers. So let's go back to drawing mode. Okay, so let's see, erase. As I said, guys, you can just delete. There's another tool where if you use a cutter here, you can actually cut out whatever you want as well. And then there's other tools that you can use to erase. With the eraser, you can use the point on top. What it does is it erases a complete segment for you without taking up much time. Alright, so no further ado, this line needs to come out, doesn't look right. A bit of that. Okay, that looks a bit better. So now obviously the line has to be a bit more in on this side. So it looks like it's on the other side of the arm. That's perfect. And then obviously the wrist, as we see on my image. And I'll get in the hand. Get in all those fingers. Yeah, fingers do take a bit of time. You should be getting used to it very soon. Once you start animating, you won't need to insert all those fingers over and over again. Alright, let's get in some of these lines to make it look a little bit more natural. Okay, so now it looks more like the back and not the, looks more like the inner part of the arm. Okay, let's go to your edit mode. Let's select and then keep G in to move the arm. Okay, so now obviously we want to tilt it a bit. So let's keep rotating R, the button R, and now G again to move it. Let's go R again, G to move the arm. Okay, so now we have more of a character than what we had initially. Okay, doesn't look as good as the one I did earlier, but this, as I said, is just a trial run just to show you guys how to get animating. You can sit and spend more time with your character drawing afterwards. So guys, this is going to be the most important part of this tutorial. Please guys, you need to take note of this. The steps are very important. Alright, so first of all, we need to get to our object mode. Once we're in object mode, then we are going to, let's make this bigger. It's brilliant. Okay, so now in object mode we go to add. So what we want to add is we want to add an armature. An armature is an object that does the same thing as the bones in your body. Okay, for those who don't know, for any beginners, so let's move that here. So what we want to do is we want to first get it in line with the hips. That's where we usually start with the body. Alright, so let's get this thing scaled a bit down. Keep S in and scale it. Alright, and then G is to move it, guys. Alright, so we go to edit mode. Edit mode, we click on the top here where we want to move it. We click on the move cursor, and then we drag that close to, let's say we want to put it over there just so that there's neck movement. So with the middle one, we want to create a spine. So we right click and we click on subdivide again. So we have 4 equal segments. And then we want to get the arms in. So we click on the one just below that. Let me just zoom in for you guys. So we've clicked over here. And then we're going to extrude. You can right click and press extrude, or you can just use the letter E. So now we're going to extrude this until the shoulder bone, and then extrude that using E until our elbow. And then if we go further down, extrude until the wrist, and then lastly extrude until the hand. We click again in the middle, extrude to the right, shoulder, extrude down to our elbow, extrude until the wrist, and then extrude until the end of the hand. Similar to what you would see a skeleton look in our body. For this one over here, we actually want to move it up a little bit, let's just say until the end of the neck, and then we're going to extrude until the end of the head. Let's just get that other one out. Okay, so until the end of it, even if it's let's say there's fine. Okay, and now we're getting the legs. So what we have to do here is click on the bottom armature. Let's extrude that to the right, and then we click in the middle again, bottom armature. Okay, let's zoom in, extrude that to the other side. Okay, so now we want to get in. Okay, so let's undo that one, and let's extrude first the one leg before we start on the other leg. So we extrude to the knee, extrude to the ankle, extrude to the heel, and extrude to the tip of the toes. Then we click on the middle, extrude to that side, down to the knee, extrude to the ankles, or should I say the beginning of the foot, extrude to the heel, extrude to the tip of the toe. Okay, so guys, that's your basic animation structure, and it's as simple as this. So what you need to do now is we need to go into our object mode, and we need to connect these together. So we have to connect the animation drawing together with the armature, which are the bones. And in order to do that, we need to first click on the animated drawing, keep shift in, and click anywhere on any one of the armatures, and then you'll be able to parent them. But don't go and do that immediately. So let's first take the armatures and move them over to the side. Because I noticed with the 2D animation, you cannot subtract the weight factor, which shows you which part of the body is going to move. So let's keep it to the right. This is a very important instruction. Please take note of this. So what we need to do then is select the drawing, press shift, select the armature, and then you can right click, and then you will see there's an option parent, and then with automatic weights is what we want. Alright, so now it should be parented. If you look on the right hand side here, we should have stroke and vertex groups. So there's each and every bone is there. Guys, it's very important to label your bones because they're going to help you with the movement of your figure. Alright, so now we need to get the weight paint on the actual drawing. So each bone has to play its part on the drawing and which part of the drawing is going to move. Okay, so this is fairly simple. We go into edit mode. We can individually select the bones on the right hand side here. So if I zoom in on my bone structure, I remember starting off with this bone over here. So if I click on the first bone, it would be that bone over there, and then bone 1 will be the next one, etc. But in order to see that, go to your object mode, select the armature, go back to edit mode, and then click bone, and then it will be automatically be selected for you. Bone 1 will be the next one, and bone 2, etc. Okay, so let's go back to object mode. I'll show you guys what I mean. Click on your drawing, and then there'll be an option called weight paint after you click on your drawing. This option will only appear after you click on your drawing, guys, so take note of that. So there's weight paint. As you can see, it's all in blue, which means that nothing has been assigned to the armature. This blue color means that nothing is moving at the moment. So let's click on our bones. Okay, so if we go to bone, we go to the first bone, right, which is this one over here. We want to, firstly what we want to do is to make it simple for you guys, we want to assign the arms. Alright, so we know that. Okay, if you guys look at armature, you'll notice that the same labels at the bottom by vertex groups are on the top as well. So these bones represent the same bones at the bottom. And if you do relabel them or rename them, please make sure you rename the bone under armature and the bone under vertex groups. Otherwise, it tends not to work, and then you have to redo your entire project, guys. So please take note of that and make sure that the label is exactly the same as the corresponding bone. Alright, moving on. So for the first bone, we would say it would be that one, and then moving up bone 1, 2, and then bone 3 would be that, bone 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then coming here would be 13, and then 14 would start with the legs basically, which would be over there. Alright. So now what we want to do here is we actually want to get this leg out of the way so that we can have the not add the movement to the other parts. As you can see, the vertexes are very close to each other and you might end up moving the other parts of the body. So let's go back to object mode. Guys, just be careful when you do this. Okay, now that we've parented our actual bone structure, you can move it into place, but you'll have to do it with edit mode by selecting the entire object, shift and select that one, and then we can actually move it into place. Guys, if you want to rename your bones, I want to show you guys quickly. If you look at bone, there you can see, so bone there would be the starting of your spine, and if we move to bone 13, it highlights the bone over there, so we know that starts on the right. So let's rename bone 13, let's call it the left leg, because if you look at the mirror image, so let's say leg L1, right? So we rename it at the bottom as well. You'll be lucky sometimes it does rename the vertex groups for you automatically, but if it doesn't, please rename it yourself. As you can see, it done it for me here. Alright, so then go to bone 14, I'll call that leg L2. Remember guys, the exact same description. Bone 15 would be leg L3, and then bone 16 would be leg L4, bone 17 would be leg L5. Okay, so we're done with the one leg, and at the bottom here it's renamed everything for me under vertex groups, and that's exactly what I want. Then we're moving on to the next leg. Let's see, okay, that starts in bone 18. As you can see, it's highlighted it for us clearly. Likewise, bone 19 will be highlighted if you select it. Okay, so let's start off with bone 18. Bone 18 will be, let's say, leg right 1. Then we go to the next one, bone 19, leg right 2, bone 20, leg right 3. Alright, and then we go to bone 21, leg right 4, and bone 22, leg right 5. Okay, so both legs are done. Alright, so let's quickly do the hand animations. add arm animations. Okay, so let's look for the bones that have the hands. Okay, so it should be in this group. It's the only group left. Okay, let's stall the spine. Bone 3, stall the spine. Okay, there we go. It starts over there. So there's our first one of the left hand. So bone 4. Okay, let's open up all of the bones. See. Okay, so bone 4 will be the beginning of my left hand. So I'll put it. Let's go arm left 1, and so forth. Then bone 5, arm left 2. Bone 6 would be arm left 3, and bone 7 would then be arm left 4. Let's have a look at our vertex group. Yes, it's relabeled it nicely. Okay, then we do our second arm, which would be from bone 8 onwards. Okay, so bone 8 would be arm right 1. Bone 9 would be arm right 2, and then arm right 3. And guys, you can see on the screen with the image how it's actually highlighting the bone for you. So that's how I can actually tell whether it's part of the arm or not. Okay, so then that does it for all the bones there. Then we need to just do the bone on the head. It's a very important one, so that should be bone 12. Okay, so bone 3 will be neck. Let's label this as neck. And then bone 12 will be head. So guys, I'm not doing the spine. You guys can do the spine if you want to, and move the body as well. But let's do that for now, so we can give you guys a view on how to actually animate this guy. Okay, so you guys are not going to be using your typical 2D animation that you see in the other tutorial videos. This one is slightly different, so that you're able to actually use the bones. Alright, so let's start with the weight paint. First, what we need to do is let's go for the legs. So I'm in edit mode. Let's go back to object mode. We need to select the drawing and then select edit mode. Okay, so now I want to actually start with the right leg. I'm going to select all my vertices of the right leg, and then I'm going to move that leg out of the way so I can weight paint that leg separately. Okay, and now I'm going to select my vertices of the other leg and move that one out of the way, and then I do the same for the arms. So I select the vertices on the arms. Alright. Alright, so then move the arm out of the way, and then we do the same for the other arm. Don't worry about the other parts of the body, guys. The neck and that is quite easy. You don't have to still worry about moving it out of the way. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. Okay, so we have our legs and our arms. And now we're going to attach these to the bones by getting their movement in by using something called weight paint again, in case you guys are skipping through the video. So let's select weight paint. Alright, so now we want to assign the bones of the right leg to the right leg drawing. So what we need to do is we go to our vertex groups. Guys, we need to use vertex groups, remember that. So let's do our right leg first. So leg right 1, we're not going to be using because that's attached to the hip. Leg right 2, we're going to be using. Okay, so let's do weight paint. As you can see, if I drag the mouse over, it paints it in red. So we know our first bone goes until the knee area. So let's highlight that until the knee area. And then leg right 3 will be until the beginning of the foot, from the knee area until the beginning of the foot. Let's zoom in, guys. You can adjust the radius of your brush. You can also undo your work by pressing Ctrl Z. Okay, so this will go until the area of the actual foot, which we want. All right, there we go, leg right 4, which is the heel. This takes us right until the heel of the foot. Okay, so I'm selecting this entire area until there. And then leg right 5 is the entire foot itself, according to our bone structure. Guys, let's just try and get this all red so it moves the entire foot. If you have any yellow or blue, it might only move part of it because the yellow and blue is only moving a small section. That's practically what it means. And I've tried this out similar to 3D mode. The 3D mode works differently. Guys, you will not be able to subtract your weight paint of this 2D animation drawing. So be careful when you're painting and undo your work regularly if you make mistakes. Okay, so our first leg is done. We move on to the left leg. So left leg 1 is obviously our hip. We move on to left leg 2, which will be until the knee. Alright, so then left leg 3 will be from the knee down. Again, let's zoom in on our image. Very important steps not to forget. Cool. There we get that in. And we want to select bottom area there. Leg left 4. That will be the heel, so we're only going to select the top until the heel. And then leg left 5 will be the entire foot. Okay, so that does it for our legs. Okay, here we do our hands. Let's go for the left hand first. So arm left 1 is obviously a shoulder, so we're not using that at the moment. If you guys want to do the shoulder, you guys can do the shoulder. Also helps give a better movement, looks more realistic. So arm left 2 will be from the top area until the elbow. Important to include any of your guys' textures that is inside the drawing, because if you don't include it, it won't move. It will not move together with your drawing. Okay, arm left 3, which will be from the elbow down all the way to the wrist. Okay, and arm left 4, entire hand until the wrist. Getting it nice and red so that we make sure that the entire hand moves. If you guys want to draw a figure with extended fingers and put a bone in each finger, it will also make it look better. So let's go to our right arm. That's the first one is the shoulder. Right arm 2 from the top all the way down. And guys, I've seen many videos and some of them are very difficult to understand. This is probably going to be the most easiest video for you guys to actually do a 2D animation on, and it's worth watching. Okay, all the way to the wrist, including, let's zoom in so we can include these textures. Guys, please don't forget to highlight any of your vertices. If you're going to forget any of them, your hand is going to be waving all over the place, and vertices will be in different areas and the picture won't move all together. Alright, the entire hand, let's zoom out there. And guys, you don't really have to adjust your brush size, because if you zoom in, the brush size stays the same, but the image will increase. Alright, I want to include that as well. Okay, so that does it for the arms. Now the easier parts, which would be the head and the neck. Let's do the head. Select head under vertex group, guys. Don't forget the vertex group. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna change the radius because I don't want to be going the whole way through this here. So let's select from the top all the way down. It's only when we come to the bottom that we actually need to adjust the radius of the brush. Everything on the head needs to move. Okay, that's good enough. Let's go down to adjust the radius, zoom in. So I only want the head to move when I use the head armature and not the other parts of the body. So I want to be very careful when I select the vertex. Alright, so then just slowly go through these ones over here. Careful not to touch any of the neck. If you do touch the neck, it's not an issue because then a part of the neck will actually move with the head, which is also a good thing to have sometimes for a more realistic effect. But don't go and include the complete neck because then your neck will move in different places. Okay, so that does it for the head. And then we had neck, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there we go. And then we do part of the neck. Okay, so guys, that does it for our weight paint. So each limb should be assigned to the bones. Now we go back to edit mode. Let's put our body pieces back into place. Sorry, dude, for taking out your body, but you can have it back now. Okay, let's go next one. Guys, I know a lot of us, especially Muslim people, cannot draw cartoons on paper. They're not allowed to, so that's why I'm also making this tutorial to help them make those Islamic animations that they wish to make, and this will help them out a lot. Alright, so now everything is in place. Let's see if our limbs actually move with the bones. Oh, wait, our hand here isn't correctly in place. Okay, guys, let me just fix this arm. Okay, what we can do, you see the arm? Okay, the arm is there. I can just adjust the actual. Let's go to object mode and select our armatures, edit mode, move this one up to the wrist, selecting the move cursor. So guys, you can just adjust your, if it went out of place, you guys can just adjust it. Alright, there we go. So now it looks fine. Okay, let's move now to your pose mode. So in order to get to pose mode, let's first go to object mode. You need to select the armatures in order to have the pose mode option appear. Very important. Okay, now we're going to see if they actually move. I'm sure everybody's excited for this. So let's select the move button. Let's do the leg joint there. Okay, let's move it. Let's use G to move. Wow, there we go. And let's do that one over there. Ooh, lovely. I like that. Oh yes, it's brilliant, guys. As you can see, he is already flying, being a superhero. Okay, this one here, I like that a lot. So we can actually do a bit of a, and let's do the other one. It's moving good. Okay, you guys can just press Ctrl Z to get all your limbs back into place as they were before. Okay, so let's go back to pose mode and then the head. Let's see if it moves. Yeah, the head moves. So guys, as you can see, I didn't attach the neck, but if I attach the neck, the part of the drawing will move with the neck. So you guys can do that as well. And then let's see the neck itself. Okay, so that's So we need a bit of a subdivision with the neck. So we can subdivide the armatures and make it more of a spinal, so the neck moves a bit more round. But this is fine for now. So guys, that's how you move the animation. But now we want to actually make a complete animation. So basically we've done the foundation. Let's complete this, guys. Okay. So now what we need to do is, don't worry about the timeline at the bottom. We're not going to be using the timeline as they explained to you in the other videos, because that's not what we're interested in now. We're going to be using one or two other options like 3D Paint, MS Paint, all the simple software applications that you have on your computer already, just to animate this guy. All right, so the next step, okay, so to work easier, I want to change the display of these bones and actually make it into a stick. So if you look on the right here, you'll see that under the object data properties, there's a viewport display, and you can change the display as a stick, which I'm going to use. All right, because I like the stick, it's easier to see what's going on in the picture. All right, guys, so next thing is we want to completely highlight the armature and the image, and we want to copy that, right? Control C and Control V for paste. And if we see now, we have our second image that is right on top of it. So now what I want to do is I want to actually take that image, put it next to the original one. All right. Don't worry too much about the centering or alignment of it. It's not going to matter. We're going to be correcting that with the grid in MS Paint. All right, so now we want to make a new pose for the second image. So we select our armature on that image, go to pose mode. All right, and now let's say we want him to walk. All right, so let's just move this a little bit. So I would say, let's just give it a few movements just to see what we're looking at. Okay, and then also the movement of the arms are important when he walks. So the one arm behind and the one arm in front, as if he's swinging his arms, a bit of the head maybe tilting back as he walks. All right, so that should be good. And then we go back to our object mode and we see that our second image stays in that position. So now we want to move from the second image, we highlight that, Control copy and Control V for paste. We move that image next to this one over here. And then we do the same thing. We select our armature, we go to pose mode, and we do a new pose. So we would want to press G just to move. And then we can move the arms again in the second one. And then a bit of that movement over there. Okay guys, so what you want to do is you want to keep on creating images with these movements and actually have your image look as if it's moving from frame to frame. I'll go back to object mode, you see that one stays in place. And if we go to render, what you want to do is you want to render this image. The software will automatically take the bones out of the image and you will just have your drawing with the poses that you see over there. Alright, so then you'll see there's three different images. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a project that I've already done, and I want to show you guys what I've done with that project. So I'm going to open up, okay, let me save this actually. Let me use this as just, okay, and let me open up another project. Okay, so here's the project that I initially done. As you guys can see, there's my drawing of him actually walking. All right, and then I'm busy with more at the moment with the same character. Once you've rendered your image, guys, like I showed you, and you saved your image onto your computer, then go to that actual image. Let's close this down. So if you look at mine, it should look something similar to this with the different movements. And once you have that, then all you need to do is you need to line them up, guys, so that each image is individually cut out. Once you have them individually cut out, you can do this in MS Paint. All right. As you can see, I've got each one labeled. And once that is done, then you need to download the software. All right, you need to download the software, which is called VSDC Free Screen Recorder. Right, because this software is going to be something that you're going to be using to actually copy and paste your animations and actually make them move. Let me just go through them for you. Alright, so the next thing we're doing, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get the picture into animation mode. If you see I press play, I've got a series of those images that I cut out and pasted them in my timeline. So basically what I've done is I've cut and paste each movement so that they end up walking. Now let's see what happens if I added a background. Let me just open one of my other projects that I've done. Alright, so here we go. This is my timeline with the background. And if I go to the actual video, this is what it should look like. And that is your 2D animation. So you guys can play around with it. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Remember to download the software. It's called VSTC Editor. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe.